Oh my goodness. What have we just witnessed, ladies and gentlemen? We are coming to you live on the Cricket LinkUp after the first T20 World Cup semi-final, New Zealand, South Africa. You guys know, you watched it on SuperSport. And as you can tell by my panel's faces, it was not a good day for South Africa. And before we get into anything, Finn Allen just scored the fastest ever T20 International 100 in a game between two former nations. Insanity. Chris Morris, as a man who's been here before, another time that South Africa get close, I can't finish the job. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think I feel the same as pretty much everyone in the country. Obviously, we're very disappointed. Look, I think the reality is that we played our worst game in the semi-final. And this game of cricket, this T20 game, is a rude game. We know how it is, and it's general in sport. I mean, you go to a tournament where it becomes knockout, and that's where you want to be peaking. And unfortunately, we just did not have a good day. Our batting wasn't up to scratch. The players will tell you that. Everyone will tell you that. I mean, everybody's going to be an expert now, but the way we played, we just didn't play well enough. I called 220 that we needed minimum on that pitch because I know Calcutta plays specifically at night and to chase. We saw what India did a couple of nights ago against the West Indies. So tough place to go defend. So 220 was on the numbers, but for me, 220 probably wouldn't have been enough. Maybe they would have played different if we got to that 200 mark mentally. It would have put them under pressure. But look, sometimes in this game, you just get blown away by a team that performed better than you on the day. And just to repeat, our worst game of the tournament happened to be in the semi-final. So obviously gutted. Sad for the boys because they played some really good cricket leading into that World Cup, and obviously the record speaks for itself. But unfortunately, when the stats will tell you, the odds will tell you that you're going to lose a game at some stage, and unfortunately, we just lost it at the knockout stage. So, is what it is. Unfortunately, these boys can be very proud of a World Cup that they've had, and outplayed on the day. Unfortunately,
I don't feel as bad for any of the South African players or anyone in South Africa as I feel for Nazeer, because all season long, Nazeer has been saying he's not buying into the favourites tag. He finally bought in after the South Africa West Indies game, I think it was, or South Africa's Zim. Naz, you should have backed yourself, bro.
Yeah, I mean, the law of averages, it's always going to happen, especially in T20 cricket. And I don't know, I'm finding it so hard to not be a fan right now, because if I was a fan, I can't think straight, to be honest. And Faf said we need luck to win a T20 tournament, to win any tournament. And I think within the first hour of the game, even before the game started, our luck wasn't there. We lost the most important toss of the tournament. I don't think Aiden Markram was out, but I don't think that would have changed everything. It might have changed some things, but I mean, New Zealand outplayed us on the day. Fair play to New Zealand. It wasn't a choke, though. That's one thing I want to say. It wasn't a choke. This team has won multiple close games, not only this tournament, in previous tournaments. We've won the World Test Championship final. It's not a joke. We got outplayed by a better team, and I think we're moving in the right direction. So some positivity. I'm going to have to say 2027 World Cup, I'm going to be there.
No, the thing is, I don't even know if New Zealand are a better team than South Africa. When I look at the two on paper, when I think about how they played in the tournament, there's nothing that tells me that New Zealand is better than South Africa.
It is peaking at the right time. It is playing the best cricket when it matters most. I think I agree with everyone. I think this is what I said earlier on in previous chat. I said the only scare that I have in this tournament is having to play either New Zealand or India once more. And yeah, I mean, it's just, I think everyone's kind of body language and feeling somber, because it kind of speaks to, South Africa gets into his final again, stands a big chance of winning, but obviously once more in a semi-final, South Africa just can't make that hurdle. And especially against New Zealand once more, I'll say we haven't lost to them in 5 World Cup matches in the T20. And today has to be the day, a complete reversal of that first game. We played them in the group stages. So it's tough. It's tough to take. But again, I have to agree with that. It's just bad performance at the wrong time.
Yeah, and as we touched on it before, what did y'all make of the Markram innings, obviously he was dropped early. Let's not forget that. He got dropped in the power play, but then he really started to go him and Brevis. And that critical moment was the catch. They said that they seemed to think that a finger was underneath it, but you could tell the ball did sort of bounce. I don't know if it bounced enough to be off the ground or in the hand, but it was a huge moment.
Look, I called it straight away. I said it was out. Watching it first time, it just looked like it was a catch. You play the game enough to get a feeling when the ball's bounced or not. There's a different look to the ball when it bounces. So it's simple as that. Fingers under the ball, out, unfortunately. And, like I said, the guys will tell you straight. I mean, they'll be the first to admit they didn't perform as well as they should have. And unfortunately, the dismissals, you probably look back and go, did that really get us out or did we get ourselves out? And, that's a question that obviously a lot of people can answer. They'll answer it too as players. But, that was my first reaction. Did we really force New Zealand bowlers to get us out? Obviously, we're under pressure to score as many runs as possible on a pitch that is difficult to defend on. But, as far as the dismissal goes, it's, in my opinion, out all day.
And what about that moment when Tim Seifert got hit and blood was flowing down his nose? Jeez, man. He took it out on them with the bat.
Yeah, I think for me, the turning point was definitely when I think Markram went out, to be honest. I think that's where my hope kind of just left my body. I did when Jansen came into bat, and he did put some impetus in the innings. I had a little bit of hope, I guess you could say, but I still felt we were at least 60 runs short, 50 runs short, at least 50 runs short. And we came out to bowl. Obviously, we tried, and then we had that catch which should have been taken. But one thing that I really don't understand is why the way we saw New Zealand spinners coming into bowl, and they were probably the most threatening. And in the first 6 overs, we had no spin. That, I think, wasn't the greatest decision. I think Markram's captaincy has been great throughout the tournament and previous tournaments, but I think there was a miss there, to be honest.
Do you all think, you go, Nono, then I'll ask Maury.
So this sounds slightly different there. I mean, you can always make these calls where you say you could have done this with the ball, but I feel for me the catch is Quinny and Brevis on the boundary. You take that catch. I mean, South Africa have got a wicket early on. They feel they're in the game, 170. You might feel you still, do all a good job to still have a chance of winning, but you're battered. You've scored the runs. It is what it is. You can't change it. But the only thing that you can change, start well. You can't concede 80 runs in the power play to stand a chance in a score like that. So for me, I mean, the bowling has been phenomenal throughout, and again, all departments at the wrong moment were off, and that pretty much sums up the day. Like I said earlier, complete reversal of how the first game went.
Maury, I was thinking about something watching that game. Obviously, in the West Indies game, the guys told me that a lot of Jew was there at the end, right? But there wasn't probably enough time tonight we didn't even get to the end to figure out if there would be Jew again. But do you think Falkirk is the sort of ground where you chase and is a huge advantage? Because I remember watching the first innings today, the ball was doing all sorts of Markram, dragging back off of a length, a lot off the pitch. And in second innings, it didn't seem like that.
I think, listen, I'm sure you got his number, but you can message Carlos Braithwaite and ask him the same question. Because he quite enjoyed batting there a couple of years ago. No, look, Calcutta is it's a very difficult place to defend. It does get better at night. It's very similar to a place like SuperSport Park or the Wanderers. It usually gets better under lights for some reason, even if there isn't dew. But as I said, when I saw that we lost the toss and we were bowling or batting, I said we need to get 220 here because it's a small ground. And a lot of people don't know, but on the boundaries there, they've got those practice pitches. And once you hit those pockets of the practice pitches, it just absolutely flies through. So, and it was just, unfortunately, it's a smaller ground. It is a big stadium, smaller ground. It's thin air, and it's absolutely so difficult to defend. And it's one of those places where you almost don't know where to look as a bowler because the wicket's good. It's true bounce. It's not much swing about at all. And once you've got that in India, we've seen how quickly people can score. So, like I said, I summed it up with the West Indies game in India. I mean, chasing 190 on a 190 or whatever it was. Sanju Samson played the perfect role because apart from maybe a few big hits towards the end, he played genuine cricket shots. And that's the type of ground it is. You can hit through the line. We saw what they did with our spinners and our bowlers. Hit through the line beautifully, played the field really well. And when you take a risk there and you get half a hit, it will go for 6 most times. So very, very difficult place to bowl second innings.
I know a lot of South Africans probably won't want to hear this, but one huge positive from this tournament has been Marco Jansen. Obviously with the ball, he's 25, I think. Obviously with the ball, but what he showed with the bat tonight, you think about 5 World Cups from now, South Africa have got a real banker. He could captain South Africa probably. I know people won't want to hear that now, but Naz, at least, he's a real find and a talent.
Yeah, I think he's improved so much, not just with his bowling. Also, firstly, if we look at his bowling, he's got new variations now. I think he spoke about, I think it was Ashdeep, we taught him quite a lot in the IPL about how to bowl certain variations, and he's worked on that quite a bit. And I think it's been quite impressive. And then not only that, he is a proper number 7. He doesn't need, he could probably bat at number 6 and get some big hits there, but he's a proper number 7. And we even saw it today under pressure where we basically had no hope. He blitzed himself to a good 50, but at that point it was probably too late, unfortunately, but he did give some hope to the innings. And I think for me, when he did that, as much as I thought the pitch was playing, it looked like it was playing a little bit more difficult at the time, and when I saw him hitting those big blows, I was like, oh, it's never going to be enough, is it? But to answer your question, Nikhil, I think Marco Jansen's a proper cricketer, and I think our whole top 7 has so much of potential going into 2027. It's just about peaking at the right time, as Nono said.
Right, guys. Well, unfortunately, that is the end of the Cricket LinkUp. I've had a lot of fun. I know it doesn't end on the happy. Every story is supposed to have a happy ending, but not this one. Before we go, though, I need predictions. With 3 teams left at the point of recording. Nono, I see you smiling big. Who's winning the World Cup?
New Zealand have gained a supporter today. I'm going New Zealand today just because for cricket, I want anyone but England or India.
What about the rest?
My heart says New Zealand. Nice to have a Southern Hemisphere country win it again. But my brain says India, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, they're the best team. I've called it from the beginning. I think they're going to win it. So they have been the best team in the tournament. Obviously, they had the one loss, but my heart says New Zealand. I think India are going to win it.
Nazeer.
Nikhil, I don't care who wins. I don't want to watch another game, but I'm going to have to say I predicted from the start that India are the favorites. I think India is going to win the World Cup. For that reason only, just so I can be right, I'm going to say India.
Also, because I picked England at the start of the World Cup, I think I'm going to back England. But it means then that if England or India win, we'll have a team win the World Cup 3 times for the first time ever. And that means the West Indies record is kind of not really very impressive anymore. But guys, I don't know. Honestly, I didn't see this one coming tonight. Maury, thank you, my co-host. It's been loads of fun. Cricket LinkUp. We need to have a season 2. Next event, it'll be at home as well. Nono, Nazeer, Pila, everybody that we had on the show, Charlie, thank you so much to you guys. And thank you to you, the viewers at home, all on SuperSport across Africa. We've loved having your company. Until the next one, Cricket LinkUp signing off.